Hi, my name is Phoebe Faye, and I am originally from Northampton, Massachusetts. I live here in Los Angeles now, and I have an experience to share that was quite interesting, if you would say the least, and a little bit frightening as well. I was an exotic dancer working at the Wild Goose, and I'm not sure what the time frame of that was, but it was close to the time where the club was closing, so 2012, I believe. And this gentleman came in. He was quite tall and very handsome, and he wanted a lap dance, so not a big deal. And when I was giving him the lap dance, though, I noticed he wasn't giving me eye contact. He was actually watching the dancers, like, behind me. And I noticed that the irises of his eyes were not round, and I kept staring into his eyes, like wanting them to change back into like a normal round iris, but they never did, and it was like a lizard kind of a eyeball. And
can you describe like the shape of it? Was it round like we were talking about? Or
no, it was like a slit.
It was like a straight up and down.
It was a straight up and down slit, yes.
And can you just describe like when you realized it as you were looking at it?
When I realized it, I was like, wow! I was freaked out and excited, but at the same time there was an innate feeling of, do not mention this. Do not open your mouth. Do not make it known that you've seen this to him, because I just didn't feel like it was a good idea. I felt very scared to mention anything. I did not know why I had an empathic feeling like that, but it was a strong sense that, I believe in angel spirit guides, and they were like, do not mention this to him. And it was really weird. It's just really weird.
And when this happened, and he wasn't like looking right at you.
No, he was looking like beyond me. Like he was not giving me eye contact.
He wasn't giving me eye contact.
But the main stage was behind me.
Uh-huh.
So it was like, you're looking at me. So he was watching the girl on stage behind me. So,
and so you were giving him the lap dance.
I was giving him a lap dance, but his eyes were not focused on my face. They were kind of watching the rest of the room and stuff. He was, I don't know. It was.
And like, did you get some sort of like a feeling of what he was thinking as his eyes were shape-shifting like that?
No, I didn't really get what he was thinking. That's another thing that, actually, when you come to think about it, I'm an empath, and it's funny, I didn't get anything on him at all. I didn't get a read. And just, when you first saw him, though, do you remember distinctly that his eyes were normal, like round pupils? Oh, yeah. When I first started talking to him, it was like a normal guy, And like I said, he was kind of cute, too. Like a tall, like he had blondish, reddish hair. Not like super masculine, but, stocky. And he was about 5'9".
Uh-huh.
So he was taller than me. And I think his friend bought him the lap dance. So, no, not a big deal.
And you say he was over 6 foot.
Yeah.
And was
about like 5'9".
5'9".
He was not that tall. He was taller than me, but I'm 5, so everybody's taller than me.
and was he buff, or do you remember him being a big man?
He was just big. He had like big arms, like kind of burly arms.
Yeah, you see, because
and just very. I remember his chest was very fit. He was very fit. He didn't have a lot of like extra pounds going on. It was just like a very firm man.
Yeah, because all the descriptions of people when they see reptilians in their full form, they tend to be very robust, muscular dudes, okay? And they have 2 hearts on either side in their armpits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we're talking about now, because the reason I asked you the feeling that you had when you saw his eyes was because I've seen a lot of interviews and people who talk about this when they see a reptilian in its full form, and in almost every case they say that there's an intense feeling of evil about it.
Yes. It was
like
more
that
like fear. I was not afraid, because I'm in a controlled environment that, you know, I will say this, the wild goose was in a controlled environment. There was nothing going on but good, you know, good vibrations and stuff like that. So I figured, you know, I usually would make sure that they don't have a weapon. And, you know, when I'm giving a lap dance, the first thing I do is kind of make sure that they're not carrying a weapon. And so,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's a dangerous job.
Kind of. Well, they never wanted really in that club. So, you know, or a knife or something, and the hands were always, you know, down at the side. So I had control of the situation. So I always felt like it was okay. But yeah, it was.
And how long did it go on?
Like, you know, now that you say that, it was. I definitely, because I'm
did-
kind of going back to that time when I remember
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm almost like reliving it in my head.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, you know, now that you mentioned the evil thing,
Yeah.
I did sense that.
Let me ask you this, because, see, this is
And I think that's why I didn't want to mention it to him, because I didn't know how. I just knew my spirit guides were saying, do not say one word.
And they were probably right, because the thing that I've heard, at least, and I'm no, you know, personal witness expert, but, you know, what I've heard is what really angers them the most is when you discover them. They don't like being discovered because their true form is hideous. Okay,
They're not like the Geico lizard?
Yeah, they're not cute. And see, here's the thing. What I was asking you about that bad feeling, because, you know, I'm sure you've run into certain men that you've never had, you know, any, you know, they're not reptilians or anything, just regular men, but you get this sort of bad karma feeling about them. You get this feeling that.
Well, yeah, I'm an empath, so that would definitely.
Right, so you know what I'm
fall
talking
down
about. You
that
can
road.
feel that feeling. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not really an empath so much. Maybe
I can just say this. The word that came to mind was he was a dick.
he was a dick. Uh-huh.
He was yeah, I don't want to say, you know, because this
Yeah.
is
No,
family hour.
Right.
But yeah, he was not. Dick would be what just came through.
Yeah, just so
he
you
was a
know,
dick.
my channel is not the family hour.
Oh, okay. Was it fucking asshole?
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So the thing is, because this is the thing. This is my understanding, okay? The whole legend of vampires comes from the fact that we have had a reptilian race living on this planet for over 4,000 years and possibly longer.
Mm-hmm.
And that these things also have time travel. You guys have got to see the 5-hour interview of Al Bielek telling his life story. It is so unbelievable what our government has. They have invisibility. They have time travel. And I thought that was a total, you know.
No, I've known that they've had time travel. I've known of these things to be inherent.
How can there be time travel?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. How? I mean, if somebody was their enemy who was truly going to mess with them, couldn't they just go back and change the time when they were the mom met the dad and prevent them from even being born? I mean, that's what I don't get. Okay, so let's just get back to the reptilian thing. So when you saw his eyes
Mm-hmm.
shift, how long did it last?
A long time.
A long time.
Yeah, almost the entirety of the song, which is like 3 to 4 minutes of, you know, whatever. I can't really remember what song it was. It was a long time ago. But I do remember just like staring at his eyeballs, and I was like, oh my God, he looks like a lizard. And I was like, I just kept saying that to myself. I'm like, is that a lizard? Those are, am I really seeing that? Am I really seeing that? Like, I was questioning myself because it's not something that you see every day.
Right.
And it didn't change back. It was like, because the light of the stage was hitting him in the face, okay, and it was like the face was being, you know, accentuated by light.
Uh-huh.
So I was definitely seeing it clearly. There was no mistake. It wasn't dark. And I was just crazy amazed by that. I was like, you know, I just kept looking, and he was kind of like zoned out.
Let me ask you this. Did you see a reflection? Because one thing I've noticed about these slit eyes sometimes, at least when I was recording it on TV the very first time I did, I noticed that the normal little circle that you'll see, like a light in someone's eye, was actually obscured by the blackness of that slit.
I didn't see
really
any
weird.
reflection. It was just black.